Simon Sez is a 1999 action comedy from director Kevin Alyn Elders. The movie opens with, this is what they decided to start with.
Hey Simon, look at Freddy fly.
Not filling me with confidence on the comedy. Anyway, Simon's an Interpol agent working with his surveillance team, Micro and Macro. Oh boy, I think Micro is going to need his own rim shot for the rest of the movie.
Why do the European police call themselves Interpol anyway? Why don't they just say, Europol?
I had a Europol at the doctor's office once. I couldn't sit down for a week.
Simon's tracking the arms dealer, Ashton. Meanwhile, another guy is being attacked by a bunch of motorcyclists. I guess the X Games are in town. Hey! After trashing his car, the gang leaves him with the arms dealer. Is it me or does this guy look like an alternate universe review bra? The colonel tells the bad guy, the weapons deal is canceled. Since the colonel's trying to get out of the deal, Ashton has his bikers beat him up. So Simon springs into action. He then takes the helmet off, and I don't think all those piercings are compliant with the Interpol dress code.
When did you start doing business with arms dealers, huh?
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
This super elite Interpol agent kinda sucks at interrogations.
Call me when you're ready to talk.
Yeah, you'll tell me the truth eventually. Simon heads over to the Simon Cave, where he meets up with his team. They fill him in on who the colonel is. No time for research. It's time for the funny.
And we're bad. And we can dance.
Over on Evil Rich Guy Beach, this is Claire. She's making out with her boyfriend, and then gets interrupted by Mr. Gabrielli. Even he knows he's being a creep.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gabrielli.
That's all right, Claire. Sometimes I scare myself.
Why do I feel like this guy enjoys his job a little too much?
Well, stay where I can see you.
We're just gonna go lay out on the raft.
Well, but stay on the raft where I can see you.
Ah, yes. And arch your back a little more. Make him rub your feet. Oh, yes. In another part of the beach, pro beach bocce ball. Ah, yeah, that's right, bitches. It's the last ball of the game, and it's up to Simon to win. Simon goes in for the shot, and he blows it because of Dane Cook.
Simon Sez, go for it.
I feel like that's not the first time he's been responsible for something being premature. Okay, this is Nick. There was a time when Dane Cook was the cool guy comedian. However, in this, he's this guy. Although whenever I see him, I always just think of this guy. Turns out Nick went to spy college with Simon. Nick is succeeding at being the most annoying character in the movie. What's his motivation? Act like an overly excited chihuahua? Nick somehow convinces Simon to hang out with him for the day. Simon's face is the audience. Nick tells Simon he's working for the DEA or the NSA or the FIC or some such nonsense. He meets up with the totally legit Staka Bo cosplayers. He then gets a call from Gabrielli. He's supposed to give the bad guys a case filled with money for the hostage? Huh? The guys try to force the issue, so Simon goes into punchy kick mode. The two escape, and Simon tries out his new one-liner.
Tell me what's going on before I go Picasso on your ass and rearrange your face.
Nick explains his boss's daughter was kidnapped, and he's there to pay her ransom to get her back. If your daughter's kidnapped, wouldn't you send somebody competent to get her back? No, in Hollywood world, you send an absolute idiot to do it. Just then, Simon's attacked by an escapee from Dead or Alive. This is Simon's spy ex-girlfriend. Does she even have a name? She wants the briefcase, so he throws her around. Would this be a domestic dispute? Nick is useless. She does some wire foo and gets stopped by Nick.
That's a huge bitch.
Please kill him.
Don't let me get all Jurassic on your ass, yeah.
Alright, that'll do. She then tries to get away, and there's lots of flippy nonsense and whatnot. Then Simon gets kicked in the throat. Well, that's unpleasant. He manages to lightly tie her up and leave with the suitcase. The girlfriend's trapped, and they throw in some good old-fashioned stereotypes.
No, I no can clean.
Back at Simon's hotel, why are you showing me how Dane Cook has sex? Simon opens the case, and it's not full of money, but a CD. Other evil guy is talking to his assassin. Nick calls Mr. Fence to tell him that the hostage exchange failed because he's a giant moron.
Am I like your dog now?
Simon goes to the monk to try to hack the CD. Apparently it's got info from the Department of Defense. Nick goes to church, and the monks mess with him.
God wants you to jump higher.
There you go, now raise the roof.
All right, now God wants you to dance, Nick.
Do the running man, Nick. Do the running man.
I'm starting to think the comedy in this movie is a bad idea. Did they tell Dane Cook to just be the most unlikable, incompetent nincompoop possible? In other words, he's playing himself. He goes to the confessional, which sets off a trapdoor leading to the Batcave. I mean, the, Sez Cave? He then meets the monks.
We're monks. Monks of death.
Hey, that's my progressive deathcore band name. Is it wrong that I want him to die? After peeing his pants, Simon shows up to get him to spill the beans. The monks can't break into the disc, so they want Nick to tell him about his boss. Why would an encrypted disc announce that it's from the Department of Defense? Claire is talking to her boyfriend and doesn't seem to know that she's been kidnapped.
I've set up a private tasting at the winery tomorrow.
Rowboats? Lunch in the countryside? Wine tasting? I'd like to schedule some of that kidnapping for myself, please. Simon and Nick are going to rescue Claire. Nick then puts in some theme music.
Theme?
Yeah, something to get us pumped.
The next day, looks more like Claire tasting than wine tasting. Nick calls the ex in order to set up the fake hostage trade. Okay, I had to look up her name, and apparently, her character is just named Dancer. Nick distracts her, so Simon can sneak into where they have Claire. Is that door made of chocolate? Simon's then attacked by a random kung fu guy. Then Dancer shows up and joins Simon in fighting the guy. They stop him and he gives her the disc. Simon and Nick then try to rescue Claire, but it looks like her boyfriend's in on it. So the guys rescue Claire from the kidnappers by kidnapping her. The bad guys go after them in a car chase edited in the style of Seizure Vision. To get away from the baddies, they drive off a cliff. Toonces, no! Good thing this car has a parachute. I need to point out that this is not a serious movie. Like, not even a little bit. They land on the beach and drive away. Claire is mad because she thinks her dad is trying to keep her away from her boyfriend. Micro then shows Simon something truly horrific.
Q. Pictures of Chelsea Clinton.
Ashton goes to see the colonel and then creates an international incident. This is all just to scare Mr. Gabrielli. Simon goes to see Dancer. She's mad because Gabrielli fired her when he found out the disc was fake. The two then engage in some weird foreplay. Yep, strip fighting. I guarantee you this is leading to sex. I called it. Nick forgets that he was supposed to be keeping an eye on Claire, so she escapes. She gets away with Michael, who actually is not involved with the kidnapping. Although here comes Zin, who is. They knock out Michael and kidnap Claire again. The monks call Simon to tell him the bad news. Wait, why did you wait all night to do so?
What the hell was that for?
For coming over here thinking you get what you got.
Okay, that's funny. The bad guys invade the monastery. They destroy the secret lab and their equipment. Simon then goes to see Mr. Gabrielli. Of course, he walks into a trap. Ashton kills the colonel, and then it's big shootout time. Simon proceeds to do some silly things and gets away. While trying to escape, the three lunkheads fall into a quicksand trap. Simon shows up and saves the day. Michael confronts his father about Claire. Nick is talking to Simon, and he delivers a, line? They actually put this in the trailer like it was going to be a thing.
Over. It's all over.
It ain't over.
I can see it now. It ain't over. T-shirts everywhere. Simon then messes up his line, and they decide to just leave it in.
I understand, it's cool, don't worry about it, just go home.
Should we do another take? Don't bother. By this point, most people have already turned the movie off. Ashton goes to see Mr. Fence. He gives him the disc in exchange for Claire. Micro blocks the road with sheep. No one can move the blob! This, of course, leads to more jumpy action. Then Ashton gets away. Nick and Michael go to rescue Claire. Look, his whole noggin is exposed. Can someone snipe him? Simon's chasing the bad guys. He gets to the house to help Nick and Michael. Ashton uses the disc to play, Looney Tunes? The team rescue Claire. Dancer is there too. Simon is going to stop Ashton, who is doing some James Bond villain stuff. He's gonna blow up the Eiffel Tower because it's fun. Simon and Ashton then have a very anticlimactic final battle. Ashton dies and the place explodes. Oh man, those Taki burritos are no joke. Sometime later, Michael and Claire get married. The discount Robert Redford is pleased. Nick finds a way to be more unlikable. Simon then rides off with Dancer, on their way to Bone City, I imagine. Nick and the monks walk off, and Micro has a story about how he was a stripper named Free Willy.
Actually, I prefer the term exotic dancer. Free Willy was my stage name. Sometimes it was white chocolate if I was feeling kind of sassy.
The end. Dear Lord. Every now and then, someone will catch the attention of Hollywood, who then insist on turning this person into a movie star. In 1996, that person was Dennis Rodman. Rodman was a basketball player who stood out due to his unique look. In 1997, he paired up with Jean-Claude Van Damme in Double Team, and honestly, he wasn't nearly as bad an actor as I was expecting. I'm not saying he's going to win any awards, but he's no less wooden than Batista, and people praise that guy for some reason. Anyway, Simon Sez is not a sequel to Double Team, although a lot of people thought it was. In Double Team, Rodman was an illegal arms dealer, and in Simon Sez, he's an undercover Interpol agent. In a way, the movie's kind of a prototype of XXX, where this rough-around-the-edges bad boy is now their hip James Bond secret agent. Although, with the movie opening in 29th place, that proved that audiences really weren't interested in Dennis Rodman's super spy. Although it seems there was a little more to Dennis Rodman being an actor that I didn't know. In 1998, there was a lockout by the NBA owners. Work stoppage put a hold on his career, so he went looking for work alternatives. And since Double Team was a modest hit, he was able to take the lead on Simon Sez, which was pretty much tailor-made for him. While I'm not a fan of Rotten Tomatoes, I do find it funny that this got a 0% rating on there. The movie also starred a then-unknown comic, Dane Cook. Apparently the role of Nick was supposed to go to Robert Downey Jr., but he bailed at the last minute and was quickly replaced by Cook. Funny to see that just a few years later, he blew up as the biggest comedian in the world for a little while. Much funnier comedian John Panette was Micro. This was probably the biggest role he's ever had, and what I mean is, this wasn't the most popular movie he ever did. That was 2004's The Punisher. This was just the movie where he had the largest part. Sadly, John Panette died in 2014 at the age of 50. Comedian Ricky Harris played Macro. I remember seeing him on Def Comedy Jam back in the 90s. He had a pretty wide selection of work, from Everybody Hates Chris, to Hard Rain, to voice work in GTA San Andreas. I didn't know this until looking into it, but he also died in 2016 at 54. That's terrible. The dancer was played by Emma Wickland. She was in 4 of the Taxi movies, which made her popular in France, despite being Swedish. In the 90s, she was dating Ulf Ekberg, one of the founders of Ace of Base. At 5'10", she was one of the top supermodels of the 90s. It seems she retired from acting after Taxi 4 in 2007. Simon Sez is a silly movie. Really silly. They filled this movie with a cast of ridiculousness to counter the absurdity of Dennis Rodman. Then they had Rodman play the straight guy, while everyone around him was being goofy. Yes, it's a bad movie, but there's something really stupid and fun about it. From Rodman occasionally kicking things, to him taking a beating from his gigantic girlfriend that they didn't even bother to name. It's big stupid. While I agree that it's terrible, I enjoy the stupidity. It's dumb, but no, it's just dumb.
I thought you was on a diet.
Ah, screw the diet. Let's get Chinese food.